Welcome, dear listener, to a journey back in time to Philadelphia in the 18th century. This was the largest and most prosperous city in Britain's North American colonies, a place William Penn founded in 1682 as a holy experiment in religious tolerance and peaceful living. Planned with a neat grid of wide streets and public squares, it stood in sharp contrast to the tangled lanes of older cities like Boston or New York. By the mid-1700s, Philadelphia had grown to more than 20,000 inhabitants, and by the 1770s it neared 40,000, making it second only to London in the English-speaking world. It was a vibrant melting pot. Quakers in their plain dress, German immigrants speaking Pennsylvania Dutch, Scots-Irish artisans, Anglicans, Jews, free blacks, and tragically, thousands of enslaved Africans. Ships crowded the Delaware River, exporting wheat, flour, and lumber while importing goods from Europe, Africa, and the Caribbean. The air hummed with printers' presses, market cries, church bells, and the clatter of horse-drawn carts. Let us begin our walk through these historic streets. We start at the bustling waterfront along the Delaware River. In the 1700s, long wharves stretched into the water, lined with tall-masted ships unloading sugar from the West Indies, cloth from England, and sadly, human cargo from Africa. Merchants hurried about, dock workers hauled barrels, and fishermen sold their catch. This riverfront was the economic lifeblood of the city. Pennsylvania's fertile farms produced surplus grain that Philadelphia milled into flour and shipped worldwide, earning it the nickname a breadbasket of the colonies. It was here, in 1723, that a young printer named Benjamin Franklin stepped off a boat, having run away from his apprenticeship in Boston. With little more than a few coins and loaves of bread, he walked up Market Street, beginning a remarkable life that would shape the city and the nation. Moving inland along the orderly grid, broad streets running east-west, narrower ones north-south, we reach High Street, known today as Market Street. This was the commercial heart, lined with brick row houses, shops, taverns, and open-air markets. Vendors shouted their wares: fresh produce from nearby farms, imported teas, fine china, and handmade furniture crafted by skilled German cabinet makers. Coffee houses like the London Coffee House buzzed with merchants discussing trade and politics, while printers produced newspapers and pamphlets that spread ideas across the colonies. A short distance away stands Carpenters Hall, a handsome Georgian building completed in 1774 by the Carpenters Company, a guild of master builders. In September of that year, it hosted the first Continental Congress. Delegates from 12 colonies, including George Washington, John Adams, and Patrick Henry, gathered secretly here to protest British taxes and intimidation. They debated for weeks, drafting petitions and calls for unity that marked the first step toward revolution. At the center of the city rises the Pennsylvania State House, completed in 1753 and known today as Independence Hall. This elegant red brick building with its white steeple housed the Provincial Assembly. On July 4, 1776, in the Assembly Room, the Second Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, proclaiming that all men are created equal here and severing ties with Britain. 11 years later, in the summer of 1787, delegates returned to this same room for the Constitutional Convention. For 4 sweltering months, behind closed windows, men like James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and Benjamin Franklin debated and crafted the United States Constitution, the framework for the new republic. Franklin, then 81, was carried in on a sedan chair and offered witty wisdom to ease tensions. Nearby, on 2nd Street, stands Christ Church, founded in 1695 and rebuilt in the 1750s with its soaring steeple, once the tallest structure in the colonies. This Anglican parish welcomed many founders: George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Betsy Ross, and others sat in its box pews. Its bells rang out celebrations and alarms alike. Philadelphia was a city of enlightenment and innovation. Benjamin Franklin founded the Library Company in 1731, America's first lending library, the American Philosophical Society, fire companies, and a hospital. Street lighting, paved roads, and a police force appeared here first. Yet shadows lingered. Slavery existed, with enslaved people comprising up to 10% of the population early in the century. Quaker abolitionists like John Woolman spoke out, and free black communities grew. Epidemics, especially the devastating yellow fever outbreak of 1793, claimed thousands of lives. As tensions with Britain rose in the 1760s and 70s, Philadelphia became the cradle of revolution, hosting congresses, protests against the Stamp Act and Tea Act, and the ringing of the Liberty Bell to summon citizens to hear the Declaration read aloud. As our journey draws to a close, reflect on how this planned city of brotherly love, a beacon of tolerance, commerce, science, and bold ideas, became the birthplace of American democracy. From its riverfront docks to the halls where independence was declared and a constitution forged, 18th century Philadelphia shaped the world we know today. Thank you for walking these historic streets with us.